Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another interview. My guest today was on the next step in Season 3 and Season 4. They went to internationals, and today they're going to be telling us more about themselves and more about their dance career. So today, Cierra Heeley will be joining me.
Hi, I'm Cierra Heeley, and I played Cierra on the next step. Mostly Season 3, but a little bit of Season 4 as well.
Thank you so much for coming, Cierra. So today I have 10 questions based on your dancing and acting career. And my first question for you is, when did you first get into the dance world?
So I actually started dancing when I was 2. So I was born with my feet very turned in, and so the doctors actually suggested putting me in ballet to help with that. So I wasn't put in dance because my mom danced or anything like that, but it was actually the doctors that suggested it, and then I just kind of got stuck.
Oh, fantastic. And what style did you start off dancing?
Ballet was my first one, and then, of course, as the years went on and I'd see the older girls doing other kinds, next thing you knew, Mom, I want to try on tap shoes, and then it just kept going from there.
Yeah, that sounds great. So my next question is about the next step, and it is, what was it like auditioning for the show?
Um, it was interesting. So, our first audition, there were about 2,000 people there. And honestly, I had no intention of getting the role. I thought that my sister was silly for even being nervous about being there. So, I just went in to have fun. Um, and then it was sort of a series of about 5 callbacks over a couple of months. But every callback, the amount of people there decreased. And so, as we went from 1,000 or 2,000 down to 1,000, down to 100, and then in our last callback, there were actually 9 people there. And I think, that's when I started to get a little bit nervous that, okay, this could actually be real. So, but it was very, very cool. It was a new experience for me. I had never auditioned for anything else before.
Yeah, it sounds like a super fun experience, and yeah, it's so cool, like, the audition process, seeing, like, so, like, people who drop out, and then you feel like, oh, I'm getting closer, and it just sounds like, it sounds so fun.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, obviously it's nerve-wracking, but it's fun and you're doing what you love to do, so there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, definitely. And did you know anybody at the auditions?
I'd known a couple people sort of through the dance world, um, just that I'd competed against growing up, but in terms of actually being like friends, it was more that we met on the first audition and then we started to see each other every single time, so we communicated that way. And then, of course, I had my sister there with me, so that was super helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So my next question is, did anybody inspire you to get into dancing?
Um, I think sort of what I said before was like I wasn't initially put into dance because of anybody. I know oftentimes people will start dance because their mom was a dancer or something like that, and that wasn't my case. But I know that as I watched all of the older girls at the dance studio, I just wanted to be like them. And I saw them doing cool acro tricks, and I saw them on point, and I saw them doing a bunch of things, and I just wanted to try that and be like that. And then, of course, as sort of the time went on, I built the relationships in the dance world with people like my dance teacher who became a second mom for me. And those were kind of the people that always kept me grounded in the dance world.
Yeah, that sounds lovely, and I think it's great when, like you were saying about the dance teacher being your, like, second mum, and I think it's great when you have that relationship with them and that you get on with them so well.
Exactly. And I mean, when you spend so much time with them, that relationship is so, so important.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. So my next question is again about the next step, and it is, in Season 3 of the show, you went to internationals. What was it like being in Miami?
Internationals was probably one of the coolest weeks that I filmed. I mean, it's always cool to film like a really big event with people that you're close to, but because we filmed it sort of at the end, after really building those relationships during the year, it was just, I don't even know how to explain it. Um, it was very, very surreal. And the fact that we had the live audience was something that we hadn't had up to that point. So when you watch internationals, like those aren't stand-ins, those aren't people from movie extras, nothing like that. Like those are actual fans, and getting the chance to be able to dance in front of them and, have them screaming your name and asking to see you and telling them that they love you, you can just see the happiness that you bring to them. And it's nothing that I can ever describe. And it's definitely something I'll never forget.
Yeah, it does sound memorable, and it's amazing that you got to do it. Do you have any advice to people who want to get into the dancing world?
Of course, I don't know, I guess it's pretty generic, but if you want to, like, don't let anything stop you from doing that. I had dance teachers growing up who are some of the most incredible dancers I've ever seen, and they started at age 16, right? So, like, age is never, never, never a factor. Your ability is never a factor. That's something that you work on. People aren't born, well, most people aren't born with this incredible, incredible talent already. Like, that's something that hard work and perseverance goes into. And honestly, if you love to dance, why not do it, right? For me personally, dance was never something that I saw being as a career. So when I was, sorry, my headphone keeps falling out. When I was growing up and dancing through high school and things like that, I considered dance a hobby. It was something that I loved to do. It was something that taught me so many morals, so many values. It brought me incredible friendships, but I never saw it as a career. And it was that love and passion, I think, that allowed me to sort of take it to the next level because people saw what dance meant to me, right? And so all I can really say to anybody is that if you've got that in your heart, like, nobody can stop you. Whether that's dancing in your bedroom, dancing on a stage, it doesn't matter. Just go for it.
Yeah, that's some lovely advice, and I definitely agree. As long as you have your heart set on it and you definitely want to do it, then it's always important, even if you just want to try one audition for the experience, it's always important to just give it a go.
Exactly. Experience is everything.
Yeah, definitely. So my next question is, can you relate to your character on the next step?
Of course. So actually, the characters on the next step are formed around your personality. So that was actually why my character kept her name Sierra and my sister kept her name Skylar. We are sisters in real life. We are sisters on the show. And that is something that you can't put into words when you're asked to just be yourself. And so when I get to be myself on camera, and those things that I'm saying in response to my sister of how much I care about her and fighting her for a troop, but not wanting to let her down, but also not wanting to let myself down, like, those are all real life things that I would experience. Or even in season 4 when, I messed up my audition and I felt that I lost it and I let her down. Those are feelings that, I have in real life, whether it applies to the dance world or not. She's my sister and I would give everything for her. And I think that that's really something that my character brought out, was that bond between her and I and the importance of it. And I hope that that's something that people can see.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like you were saying about where they write the characters around you, I think that must be quite fun in a way because of the storylines you get to play and you kind of get to be yourself in sometimes situations which wouldn't actually happen. So it sounds super fun.
Exactly. Like, of course, there's things that happen that are scripted, but, all of our lines, like, we're playing ourselves. That's the way that it works. So it's really, really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. So my next question is, as well as dancing and acting, do you have any other hobbies you like to do?
Yeah, so I actually have a 2-year-old golden retriever who is my everything. I love him. So we like to go for walks, and he's not the most athletic, but I attempt to make him run sometimes. And I'm actually also in my 3rd year of vet school right now. So I did an undergrad in kinesiology, which is like the science of the body. So I learned a lot of the science background there and also was able to relate that to my love of sports. And then 3 years ago, I applied to vet school at the Ontario Veterinary College. And I'm now in my 3rd year, so I have 1 year to go. So, on weekends, I spend my time working at an emergency clinic, getting experience there, but also just spending time and learning lots. Of course, this year has been a little bit different with COVID. We haven't really been able to do a lot of our hobbies that we're used to, but I definitely love to golf in the summer. and I've been playing hockey in the winter. So it's really mostly sports that I do, but really anything that I can spend time with people is really nice.
Yeah, definitely, and I love all of these things you're doing, especially the one where you're like helping out, and I think that's definitely something lovely to do. My next question is, if you can choose, this next question is very hard, and it is, what has been the best moment in your career so far?
Like if I could pinpoint one, it was that week at internationals. I remember a moment just standing on stage, hand in hand with Jordan Clark and Trevor and Brittany and Miles, and just looking out at the audience and just everyone standing, clapping, and it took my breath away. I to this day don't know how to explain that feeling to somebody, and I will never ever ever forget that. That's definitely up there on the list, if not the top.
Yeah, that sounds like an incredible experience, and it does sound magical. Like the way you're describing it, it makes it sound so magical.
Yeah, very magical. And especially because, like these kids weren't told to stand up and clap. Like this is really, really how they feel. And it was so special.
So yeah, that all sounds great, and I have a couple more questions for you. My next question is, what was it like working with the cast and the crew of The Next Step?
It was great. So I had a little bit of a challenging time, I'm not gonna lie, because I came in at season 3, right? And so a lot of the cast members had already been together for 2-3 years. Like they had grown The Next Step to be what it was. And so I was very, very nervous coming into sort of an already formed family, if that makes sense. But these people are so welcoming and so accepting that my first day on set, I was so scared. The producer came right over to me, sat down on the ground with me. We were actually filming Miles and I's duet. It was the first scene I ever filmed in my whole life. And he came down, he just sat beside me, and he just said, "Okay, what do you need?" He just talked me through it, and I came back the next day with the biggest smile on my face, and he looked at me and he's like, "You're not nervous anymore." I was like, "No, like ready to go." It was like, it's that initial nerves, but once you realize how open and welcoming and inviting these people are, they're not there to judge you. Like, sure, we are forming a TV show, and sure, you do need to be on your A game all the time, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be penalized if you mess up. And you know what? The camera stopped rolling and you guys are all laughing together anyways, right? Like it's a big family and it's so much fun, and I'm very, very grateful for it.
Yeah, it sounds like the cast and crew are a lovely family, and it just sounds like an overall amazing experience. I do have to ask, what was your favourite dance to do on the show?
Oh man. I'm going to say the blindfold. The blindfold dance at internationals. One, because it was a smaller group, so we really got to spend a lot of time together working on it, but also it was something so different. I'd never done a blindfolded dance before, and to be able to be up there with people and doing this such abstract thing, it was really cool.
Yeah, that was such, I think, a very iconic dance, really, for The Next Step, because obviously it's very unique wearing these blindfolds. Yes. Obviously, you could still see through them a little bit, I've heard, because obviously that would be very dangerous, but the whole concept of it was very, like I was saying, unique. It's never really happened before.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, the fake eyelashes stuck to the blindfold definitely don't help, but it was very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool, and I also liked how, when, I think it was earlier on in the season, when Noah was doing those things where you were chucking things at him and he caught them, I thought it was good how that had some reference to internationals. I like storylines that do that.
Yeah, it's really nice when they keep tying things together.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. So I have one more question for you. This is always my favourite question to ask, and is, do you have any behind-the-scenes stories from The Next Step?
Oh man. Well, I have a kind of sad one. I mean, it's not super sad because we made it over it, but it was actually when I was filming my group routine with Elite before I made it on to Next Step, sorry. When I was doing my back layout, it was one of the first routines that I filmed, and I fell on my back layout, twisted my ankle, and was sent to the hospital. And that was in the first week of filming. And I thought right there, I broke my ankle, this is it, my career's done. And you know what? It wasn't. My ankle wasn't broken. Sure, I couldn't do my back layouts anymore, but I worked with such amazing people that they worked around that. So instead of filming the solo that I was supposed to dance that afternoon, we filmed it in 2 weeks when my ankle was a little bit better. And we adjusted things so that people had no idea that I was injured for almost the entire season. And I think that just kind of goes to show that when people care about you, they're willing to do these things for you, and that one little mistake doesn't make or break a career. And I think that's an important lesson to learn because, like I said, I was so scared. I thought that in that instant, I had ruined things. And it was kind of proof that that wasn't the way that it was going to play out.
Yeah, well, you would never have known. I would never have known that. I couldn't have said I noticed anything. But yeah, that's kind of like a sweet and salty kind of story, because it was obviously sad you fell over, but at least it didn't stop you from filming the rest of the season.
Exactly. Just shows what perseverance can do.
Yeah, definitely. I was just wondering, what was it like kind of being on the next step with Skylar, your sister? Was it kind of fun to share the same experience?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely incredible. We would drive to set every day together, and I think that just the whole next step experience for me was such once in a lifetime thing that I really can't explain to anybody. And to have the person who's probably the closest to me to experience that with me, like, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. She knows those feelings that I'm saying. And to be able to not only do it with her, but to be her sister on the show, I think that it was just so special, and it's something that definitely my whole family cherishes. And we look at old pictures and we laugh about it and stuff, but that's something that for my family we went through all together in those couple of years, and it's something that nobody's ever going to take away from us.
Yeah, definitely. And it was obviously great that you both got to experience it too. And how did it feel? Obviously in season 4 you left the next step, so how did it feel to leave?
It was bittersweet. I think when I came in season 3, knowing sort of that A Troop had been A Troop for 3 years already, that's what happens in life, right? People grow up and they graduate, and unfortunately that's also what happened to me. And although it was bittersweet and it was sad to have to sort of say goodbye to that A Troop memory, it was also pretty awesome to be able to say, this was the experience I got, and now moving forward, my sister's moving into that exact same spot, right? So season 3, I got a much different experience than she got, but then in season 4, she sort of understood what that A Troop role meant, and I think that made it a little bit easier to sort of say goodbye.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying, and yeah, it was great. Maybe Cierra will make another appearance in the future.
I mean, we've never heard anything from her again, so why not?
Yeah, why not? So we have came to the end of the interview now, and it's been fantastic learning more about yourself and your career, so thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome, and also thank you to everybody who watched this video. I hope you enjoyed the interview, and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye, guys!
Bye!